Hey everybody, it's free to play Bust. We're jumping into Budget Gauntlets number 3. It's still Singleton this week, and we just did a 7-0 run with a pretty aggressive Misfortune Quinn Scouts deck. And going through the run and playing a bit more, I initially thought that like control decks probably weren't particularly good. It's just the quality of cards available isn't super high since the number of Runeterra sets is pretty low. To whereas in a game like Magic, if we're wanting to put a Wrath of God type effect in our deck. That would be, like the Ruination in Runeterra. The Ruination's pretty much it. But in Magic, there's, I don't know, there's probably a dozen Wrath of God type effects now. And so, if you're looking to build a Singleton deck, if you're familiar with Commander or whatever, you want to play that Wrath of God kind of effect, then, you have a lot of options. But, here in Runeterra, your only option being Ruination. There's not a lot of ways to fill in. So, if your end goal in the deck is to have, 4 Ruination type effects, there's only the one that exists. And so you're pretty limited in trying to put your control deck together. But nonetheless, I think this is going to pan out pretty well. We're following our budget restrictions of only 4 champions and 3 epics. And so we're only using 3 champions here, just the Heimerdinger, the Vi, and the Lux. All of these are extremely high-powered champions, and we're really focusing just on the Heimerdinger and the Lux here. We're looking to play a really spell-heavy deck. You can get a little bit more spell-heavy if you're looking to play something like Karina, but I don't think she's quite necessary here. We're really just looking to take advantage of True Shot Barrage and Progress Day for our kind of card advantage suite to kind of, take us over the edge once we get to the end game, and then we're playing an Unyielding Spirit to just really lock down the board and protect whatever unit we seem to think is the most valuable here. And then along the way, we do have a reasonable amount of early game in here. The idea being is if we're able to get to the later portion of the game, if we're ever casting, True Shot Barrages, then we should be pretty set. The format seems to be pretty aggressive. And then what I'm thinking here is that the format is pretty 1 toughness heavy. So we're really looking to focus on our things like Chempunk Shredder, who's he called? Where's my damages at? The Static Shock, the True Shot Barrage. That's why we're trying to play these kind of cards. And then we just have these kind of value units that we can kind of dirtle throughout the early game. We're looking to, run some challengers to kind of dictate how the early game goes, and then really just stall out the game until we can drop some of these card advantage cards. And then if you're familiar with our expedition runs. We're running a few of the combos that we think are pretty powerful in expedition. Be that I have the Clump of Wumps and Chump Wump in here just for value from the Rummage and the Get Excited. They may turn out to be relevant at some point with Heimerdinger, Vi, Lux, since they all really enjoy us playing spells. I think that's just a pretty valid inclusion here. And since we are kind of lacking in the card advantage here, since we can't really just jam 3 progress days in our deck, I'm looking to pick up value from the Insightful Investigator. If you want to check out our mana curve, a full quarter of our deck is 2 drops, and so we should be able to pick up a card or 2 from the Investigator should we need it. So here we are playing Demacia again. I feel like Demacia is probably the highest quality single faction in the game, but there are some pretty powerful cards that we're picking up from Piltover as well. But yeah, that's the deck. Let's go ahead and jump into the games here. All right, we already got our Gauntlet awards for the week. Go us. Hopefully this video, it should come out before the run's over. They'll bring Singleton back, though. I'm sure this will still be pretty relevant in the future. Whenever we were playing Hearthstone Tavern Brawls, it was typically the starting off point would either be, somebody finds the ridiculous combo and then everybody plays it, or from beyond that, people were just usually using the old kind of decks as a base. But here, Tracker Eager Apprentice is a fine start. I have to figure this guy's kind of doing similar things to we are. We do have to kind of worry about, this is what I'm kind of talking about with the 1-drops, being good. He plays Crackshark Corsair, but there are answers in like Misfortune, Twisted Fate. This is fine. We'll trade if he offers it up.
Ready, aim.
Got access to our Lux already, which is pretty big. Progress Day is not super exciting here, but I'm glad to see Lux. I didn't quite mention it, but I am trying to play all of the units as spells cards. I'm not playing reinforcements. You can't see it down here because it's so expensive. But we are playing the blinding assault, the succession, the redemption, or whatever the sixth cost thing is that costs one less, redemption, whatever, and then we're playing the unlicensed innovation. But here, I don't feel like we need to attack. He can get his point of value if he wants. We'll block now, but I was hoping that he just played another 1 health unit so we could get the static shock value. Okay. Not a huge deal. I'm fine with just running out Succession Investigator and then seeing if he has any way to respond. Well, the Investigator's not super sweet here. Maybe we should just bank the spell mana. Since we're not, I don't want to trade. I think this is fine. I don't really want to static shock unless he has 2 cards that we can get. Otherwise, I kind of just want to hold on to it till we get Lux. This should present something that we can get. Yeah, ooh, nice hit on the Urchin. I don't think there's a whole lot of value in adding units here. I really want to bank up 3 spell mana if we're going to drop Lux.
Another Marvolio miracle!
Gets a big dude at the cost of losing out on the card draw. That's fine. We draw all the champions. We should be able to bust through this pretty good. That's kind of scary. I mean, I'm okay to open into these powder kegs. Makes me fear for my Vi.
Don't be afraid. Face me.
Okay. And she's not here. We're never. I mean, we may end up winning a game with Vi, but if she's able to get 2 cards of value, I'm pretty stoked about that. And then if she she can realistically get 3 if it comes down to it. But I feel pretty safe about running Lux out into this board.
Everywhere I go, the light
Next turn,
follows.
we can progress day if we need to give her a point of health. She should be pretty safe here. Sure.
Get back here!
Yeah, so that works for me. We got our 2-for-1 out of Vi. Sure. Okay, Radiant can go big here. We're about to do cool stuff. Okay, nothing we can do about that. Hopefully we can, whatever his plan is here, if he's just planning on hitting her with Longtooth, then we can get her boosted in combat.
It's so beautiful!
Oh, that was a huge draw. Huge draw.
Brighter than before!
Hitting that Mystic shot was huge. That should be enough to wrap this one up. I'm sorry, friend. Next turn we can remembrance for the unit and just add a final spark to our hand. So if he plays a unit, then we can probably just kill it. We're just in an incredibly powerful spot here. I can't imagine he comes back in this one. Oh, this is going to cost 5 though? Oh, brutal. Brutal. At least we've already played 1 point of spell from the Mystic Shot. So it doesn't quite matter. We've activated our Mage Seekers, so that's all okay. Okay, I don't particularly care about this Fizz. And I don't want our final spark to get got, and so I'm planning on just popping this Plunder Poro here. Let's just go ahead and do it. I guess we can see if he adds to the board. I'm planning on just hooking Fizz here.
Demacia doesn't need saving.
If we can get this damage in, then we can just kill him with Get Excited. Interesting. Because the other thing that we can do is Final Spark. Well, Final Sparking the Poro is the same as Final Sparking the Keg, but that'll get us in for 3 damage as well. Let's go ahead and pop this thing. He has Tough. Do we care about that? Probably not.
No more holding back!
Okay, we could probably just be aggressive here. I'm not super worried about losing our Lux here, but I don't feel like we really need to put the damage in front of Gangplank. It just doesn't matter, sure. He has Tough, so he won't die. Oh, forgot his powder kegged. Oops. Still okay with me. We're just infinitely ahead here. Okay, it's like, how do we even go about this? I want to act like it matters, but I mean, it's just one of those situations where you just play cards and don't care about it. No trade picks. I kept running into the last one being like, all right, we won a game, let's get our trade picks in. Which is not the case. Not the case today. Okay, looks like it's likely a little aggro number here with the Lucian Fiora Zed pairing. Okay. Interesting. I think I'm good to keep all of the... Well, let's get rid of the Persuader. He's not going to be turned on for a long time.
New recruit reporting in. I'll do my best.
We'll want to add the War Chefs here. There's a pretty reasonable chance that he just plays a 3 health unit. There's not a lot we can, or 3 attack unit. We just can't attack, but that's fine. I'm pretty sure he's the aggro in this match, and I think I'm okay to beam this. I'm wanting to play some kind of vulnerable units here in the follow-up turns, and I don't think we really need to save this. You know, if he plays Zed, we still have a Brightsteel Protector play that we can make. And I think we'll be okay.
Feel the sizzle.
We can't
I'm
get
ready.
hosed by a Radiant Strike here, but interesting.
What
Just
could
wants the
have
damage
been?
on my unit. Okay. I have a lot of trouble just playing around something like Radiant Strike in this format, since
You're covered.
you know, you only have 1 copy in your 40 cards, and so if you had like a Tough or something, whatever, but okay. Move this out. We'll try to hook in a Zed. If it goes wrong, it's okay. Then we should be able to follow up here with a Vanguard Redeemer before our second attack. Or if, I mean, we need to purify, we can do that as well. I think we're in a pretty reasonable spot here.
Break their spirits and their swords.
The order.
Our ancestors are watching.
Kind of the question here becomes, do we want to put the 2 damage on the Protege? Because if we attack, he's always blocking the War Chefs. That might be a little overly aggressive. Let's just attack with this
For
one.
our allies.
So if he wants to hook the Chefs next turn, he loses this. Okay. And then if he gets Ultra Cute, we do have the option to purify this if we want to protect our Chefs. But I don't think we really need to.
Don't get in my way.
When
tribe calls, a reply is proper. Discipline and steel.
Vanguard Sergeant, so we do have the option now. I still just don't think we want to hit this. As it stands, we can take 3 from Lucian, get a value block here. We're going to lose this. Then we want to add you? I don't think so. Right, because he's always just blocking another 2 health unit next turn with the protege.
Purity and peace.
Aha!
Okay. Heimerdinger. Interesting, interesting. Alright, let's get the boys in.
Protect and strike.
We can just build up to Heimer next turn. I'm pretty okay with that. Would like to see this thing die before we play Heimer, though. Don't really want to have to spend a Purify on this thing. Looks like he's going to let us take it down. And if you're thinking you can't silence Lucian, this is followers, which are non-champion units. Okay, it's preventing some damage. You got it.
Looking grim.
Press on.
I'm gonna go ahead and add the pickpocket. He's likely never blocking or never getting in for an attack, so we can just go and put it in front of something. Here's a fine Purify target.
You will be scoured from this land!
Okay.
I'll recite your rights.
Sucks to miss out on a bit of Heimerdinger value, but I think this is okay. I'm not real stoked about how close to flipping this Lucian is, but I think this is fine too.
Unseemly.
Should be safe. He's already played a single combat. He can't hit it with like a detain or something. In my expedition runs, I do talk about quite a bit about not just writing out Heimerdinger, because if things go wrong, then they go extremely bad. Like, we really need to get value out of this Heimer. But I mean, as it stands, I think this is okay. If we get to untap Shredder and shock his 2 units, then we're so super far ahead. Probably still super far ahead, even if he has an answer here. But I think if he had like a detained, we don't care about, concerted strike, I think he would have snapped off. Ionia only has things like Will of Ionia. He's already attacked, so he can't challenge or hurt down, unless he has some kind of like weird combination of cards like Relentless Pursuit plus On Guard. Like I think this Heimer is going to make it to next turn. And as awkward as this is, we do need to play the Chempunk Shredder first, because I have to hit Lucian with the point of damage first. Technically, you don't have to. He's not going to flip off of this thing, but I think this is the proper way to go about this.
Soldiers, to
Sure.
me!
Okay, not the end of the world.
Too damn soon.
Interesting, he didn't detain last turn.
Take a look at this.
So do we think he's just going to take 9 and fall to 5, so we can block the Chempunk Pickpocket? I think that's okay. Like, he's never going to want to attack with this, and we have a Prismatic Barrier in hand. Even if he does, to get us back the Heimer. He probably just, like, has to block this, right? Maybe, maybe not. Okay. Got him good, boys. Almost hit surrender. That would have been delightful. We'll have to see. I've been, you know, the Twitters and the Reddits say that there's supposed to be some kind of patch coming out. This video will be out on Tuesday, and so they say there's supposed to be a patch coming out, but I guess there hasn't yet. They usually, you know, announce it on Mondays and deploy it on Tuesdays, I think. But nonetheless, here, I'm going to hang on to the Persuader. If this mulligan goes wrong, then we certainly want to have a 2-drop in our hand, and then these other cards aren't particularly important. Yeah, against... I'd assume this is some kind of Battle Scarsy kind of deck based on Vladimir interactions. We could keep the Redeemer. She might be reasonable. I think this is okay. Perhaps we should have kept the Purify. If there's ever a match where like we want Purify, they just have so many value units in here. Like if he plays a Crimson Aristocrat on us, it becomes a real problem. But I think this curve's fine. I mean, we can run out the Persuader here and then try to open with it next turn, get a trade, and then get the value from the Redeemer.
Their guilt is evident. Winter, take
Sure.
it.
Yep, I mean, if we trade with the Archer, I'm okay with this. If he wants to spend his 1 Brittle Steel on this guy, I'm okay with it as well. Let's go, cutie. pick up the pace. You're not playing your Elixir of Wrath. I can't remember the last time I've seen Elixir of Wrath. I think they completely took it out of Expeditions. I can't remember. It's I don't think I've seen Elixir of Wrath since the Rising Gods came out. I think maybe it's in like Arachnophilia, the Draven. I don't know about that. I think they kind of got the Arachnophilia Draven set up to be centered around the going wide theme. Yep. And no block, that works for me. We picked up a good Vanguard Sergeant, so we have a real play here.
Soldiers, to me.
I'm real surprised he would play Brittle Steel just as the healing salve. That seems pretty underwhelming. Excuse me. It's time for the free-to-play bus nap time. Sure. We'll just let all this happen. He's going to hook kill this thing, and then I want to play Tracker Redeemer without him seeing what's happening.
Leaping into
If he just wants to Lost in the Cold Pass, then you got us. You got us good.
avenge me.
Our ancestors are watching.
Okay, interesting. Bright Steel. I think I'd like to run it out. This is a turn where he could end up playing a big unit. The big one I'd worry about Sejuani, and he can't play her till next turn. But I mean, there's a whole host of Avarosian Hearthguard style units he could play here. Ooh, that works for me.
I see all.
I'm okay with this thing getting traded off here. I don't think we really need to Prismatic Barrier this. I mean, I don't think we'd be running into avalanches here either. But I think we're kind of okay on board here to not need to barrier onto this thing. Maybe we do though, because like the way these turns are going to start panning out is interesting. We can just pop this with the Get Excited. Because what I'm kind of getting at is going to happen here is I have to assume that like next turn he's going to play like Sejuani or Alpha Wildclaw or something, and then we can just detain it, and then we can open attack on our turn, maybe play a unit if we draw one, and then on his follow-up he's going to play another just giant dude that we can detain or Concerted Strike. So I think I'm pretty okay to keep his board as empty as possible and ours as wide as possible. At least, it sucks to lose the card to Get Excited, but at least it feels kind of like an even trade. If he's going to, Frostbite our Redeemer, then we can just, we got our 2 cards and Get Excited, Rummage his 2 cards in the 3/3 plus the Frostbite.
United, nothing can stop us.
Ooh. That messes with our plan. I was wanting him to play a real unit. I'm okay with just trading with this thing, I guess.
Our ranks fill the valley.
Well,
You would test my steel?
this is such a big open. If he wants to +4/+4 this thing, I'm pretty okay with it. Sure. He just gets in for 3 damage. I mean, that's A-okay with us.
Our land.
Really at risk here. He is playing Darius, so we don't want to fall to 10, but I'm pretty okay with how this is panning out. Let's just get
Cause is righteous.
We can play Vi afterwards and Unyielding Spirit her. But I don't think it's going to be necessary. I think we're wide enough as long as we don't, just die to some big overwhelms, then we'll be completely fine. Sure. We have 10 mana, so if we need to Concerted Strike a big play here, we're still fine.
Rum is on the job.
Sure.
Alert the kitchen. We'll need more food.
Looks like a perfectly reasonable detain target. And we also have the mana to both detain Unyielding Spirit if we want to. We have to assume this is probably going to hook like a Vi. Maybe not Vi because he can't kill her. He probably wants to be hooking a 3/3.
My shield is my sword. Good luck. Have fun.
Scared? I don't
I
blame you.
think I'm going to put the detain on this thing. I want to play Unyielding Spirit on this thing.
We should be friends.
But we kind of need to wait on him to see, like, if this gets hit with Noxus Blast, then we're in a real pickle. But he has to be spending mana or adding on here. Otherwise, we're just going to blow him out. So
I see
these guys in, Vi down here. This should do it. Yep.
Come back next.
Vi stands for victory.
Okay. Just Garen? I like it, dude. I like it. I like what you're doing here, Naru. Interesting. Let's hang on to the beam. The others are too expensive. Single combat probably won't be particularly good here. And we probably just won't play the beam. You know, with no more information than him just playing Garen, we're probably just not going to play anything until this innovation on the third turn. Okay. Works for me. Activates our Mage Seekers. Should be... I would think if he's doing this kind of thing, he may have the redemption here to drop a big boy. But the only scary one is the tough.
Remember the
Sure.
fallen.
I mean, we should be pretty good here to just Eager Apprentice beam whatever he plays. Not ultra scared of anything that can come out, and then we can follow up with Vi next turn, and she can probably hook kill anything that he plays. Again, it's kind of awkward if he plays a heavy infantry or whatever the 5/5 tough is, but beyond that, we're pretty okay.
Approaching the
Sure.
battlefront.
Do we just want to add Detainer? I don't know. I mean, it is nice to already have the Detain. Maybe this is the safer play.
About if you have nothing to hide.
Leaves our Vi a little bit behind, but we're not just wasting the Apprentice when we have all these expensive spells in our hand.
My shield is
Sure.
yours.
Got us for 3. The thing that worries me next turn is if he does have a Radiant, but we should have the enough for Thermogenic Beam. We'll have 5 mana plus 1 spell mana.
Protect and strike.
Okay. Why would he think of putting this in and pull it back? Like, is it just like a prismatic barrier? That's fine. If he wants to get a trade onto Mage Seeker or something. Interesting. Like, this doesn't really do anything. We do have a good hook here. I think that seems reasonable.
Who does not know the name Laurent?
Like, if he passes, then I think it's pretty clear that he has a Radiant Guardian. But then, like, his combat tricks are all bad, and I don't really care. Like, the only combat trick we really care about is Riposte. And he couldn't play it with 3 mana.
For king and country.
Garen. Okay. If he has Prismatic Barrier, we're okay with it. We kind of think he has it, but I'm fine with getting this Garen swap here when we can Thermogenic Beam
Shield
him,
up.
so he doesn't have it. Okay.
How can I help?
Okay, we should just be able to overrun him next turn. I mean, we have all the tools we need to beat his one champion here.
We protect these woods as they protect us.
We can eat this hit.
Ready
See
to
what he
do
does.
my part.
He's getting a little wider than us.
Keep up the good work.
He's at 6 mana right now, which will probably be a back-to-back. So I don't think I really want to play any of these. I think we're going to end up detaining Garen here. For Demacia. Okay, so we're certainly going to detain Garen. Do we really care about taking down any of these other units in the meantime? This is going to double attack us, which is kind of awkward. Or we could also just play Unyielding Spirit. So what happens if we do that? Say we single combat down this Vanguard Defender and then Unyielding Spirit our 5/5. He's tapped out, so this... Oh, we only have non-mana, though. I think this is okay. So his scout attack's just worthless now. We're going to lose our board, but I think this is reasonable.
Ready, boy?
I trust my instincts.
Go to 7. That works for me. Should have probably put this in front of like this, because Garen's just going to regenerate. That was a mistake, but
Stay resolute.
I think we're still in a pretty reasonable spot. Yeah, because if this had 1, we could do like 3-2-1 with this True Shot Barrage and try to single combat down Garen. This is okay though.
Harry, riposte. Aha!
I do want to see if he'll spend some mana before we try to play this single combat though.
Demacian steel protects me!
Sure. Let's go ahead and get this out of the way.
Demacia will prevail. Oh.
I think we just need to clean up this board a bit. We're fine. So with Succession, I'm going to Thermogenic Beam this Warden. Then if he opens on us and has some kind of weird play, we have a Detain. I think this is fine. Might have been a bit of an aggressive beam, but I think as long as we don't die here, then we just win all the time.
Yeah, I'm up.
Or would we rather just add Vi? Would get her to flip. The flip isn't super important here. But the awkward thing being is we can only play 1 spell this turn. Like, the scout isn't ultra intimidating. He can't actually kill us. The best he can do is riposte. I think the Vi's safe enough.
Vi,
This will get us this
stand
3
for
spell mana
violence.
banked up so we can try to have a big turn next turn. Okay, fine. What you got, friend? You gonna send him in or no?
Scared? I don't blame you.
I suppose.
Okay. I don't think we need to flip Vi. We're not gonna kill him next turn.
Oh.
Now we need to drop the Vi in. We need to block his biggest units. This is fine. This is fine.
Try
This is
me.
fine.
I dare you.
Take 5. Or take 4 at most. We can take 5 here.
wreck it.
Gave my all. Injustice.
You did give it your all, Vi, and I appreciate that. Ooh, progress day. Do we just snap this off? We'd have 4 mana then? It's not like we can add anything to the board. The True Shot Barrage isn't good here. But I mean, how bad is this if we lose Vi? Is I guess what the real question is. So we may need to save this back to back. I'm not stoked about it, but I don't think we're going to progress day and then draw a unit that we actually want to play. This can get us around things like if he bursts down a riposte, we can at least get this this unit off the board.
Face me fist.
Real close to just killing him. Not gonna lie, that's real close. But I do think we've turned the corner on this one. Sure. And the Radiant. Okay. So this is fine so far. So let's do Progress Day. Ooh, Purify. Flash of Brilliance for the +1 mana if we need it. I'm just going to do this. I want to spend the 1 spell mana. I think we need to be efficient with our mana here, and then we can move forward. I mean, we'll probably just hit Atrocity with this. That's the way it works, right?
Discipline and steel.
Okay, I'm not going to worry about the value. If he just plays 4 Demacia, then we're going to win the game. So I'm not ultra worried about making this a tough lifesteal. We just need to have blockers for everything, and then we can detain if he tries to do something. But let's do this. Ooh. Okay.
Courage, soldier.
Alright, that should be enough to do it here. Doesn't matter how we block these. Guess we should at least
Come on.
do something like this.
Stay back.
That'll do it.
My time has come.
Hit 'em where it hurts.
There we go. Good game.
Vi stands for victory.
Right. God, big ass pile of champions. BZ and Ionia. Okay, sure. Probably looks like it's probably just come good cards deck. So let's get to everything. Look for some 1 and some 2s, or some of the more interactive 3s. You have to assume this Kumpunk Shredder's not going to get a whole lot of work done here, but we'll still run it out. Flash Brilliance. Maybe he is going to get some work done. I kind of feel like this was a Mystic Shot hand, where you just don't play anything on 2 and just play it on Mystic Shotting whatever they play. But, I mean, they only have 1. Guardian. Okay. Maybe we are going to hit with this pickpocket.
I got the goods.
Let's see. There's tons of ways to kill him here, but we have to go for it.
Oh, what do we get?
Value time, boys.
Mages can't hide from me.
Interesting. This isn't a particularly good Heimerdinger here. Would prefer to just have some of the 3-cost spells. We don't have to just immediately run them out.
Steel.
Feels aggressive, but sure.
Skill and grace to tear your
Okay,
breath
that makes
away.
more sense. Okay, I think we're done. I don't think we're going to open next turn. Or I think we are going to open next turn. We can't add Vi. These aren't particularly enticing hooks. Do we ever just for Demacia next turn? Should I kill both of his units? Seems like he has a 1 as well. Interesting. I don't really want to run out Heimer. He could be okay next turn when we can Static Shock for a card. I think this is okay. Like we'll get a 2-for-1 out of Vi. We're pretty far ahead on board, and we have this healing potion to pick her back up a bit. I think this is fine. I think we just want to hook this. So let's
Justice first hand. Freeze.
do this. I'm sure this is going to block here. We should get in for 6. I just wanted to do. Maybe we should have hit him. But like if he has like twin disciplines, what's he going to do? He's just going to kill our Vi. So from that aspect, it doesn't matter. He can't actually protect this thing. I guess we could have health potioned or something if we needed to. But
Excuse you.
okay. Why would he ever just let Shredder in and block this thing? He has to have a card. No, he's just gonna let me just keep pickpocketing. Like I don't understand what's happening here, but okay. Why would he block this?
Spring rainfall.
Does he have like some kind of answer to Vi and he wants to play Heimerdinger or something? Like huh. Okay. Interesting. I'm not sure what the meaning of his line is. Okay, I'm fine with this. If the Heimer doesn't survive, the Heimer doesn't survive, but we can just concussive palm this, and then we can like Shredder next turn or something if we want. I'm pretty cool with just hook killing this with Vi. Got all the options here.
What you looking for?
Okay.
Yes,
I mean, would we just for Demacia this stuff? Like this has to just be a for Demacia, right? This has to be. Okay.
Shoot, shoot! That was years in the making!
Headed in. Trouble coming at ya.
Check out the goods on this one.
Okay. This all seems pretty reasonable. If he wants to put this in front of here and lose these 2 1/1s to these things, that's fine. He's about to take a ride on the value train with this Heimerdinger he hasn't had an answer for. Sure.
Justice is served.
Okay, let's just go ahead and get thing down.
Requires just one.
This is a wonderful blocker for this Plaza Guardian. It's unfortunate well, I mean, I guess we can play cards and then delete some of these units. Prefer to not have to do that, but you're in a pretty okay spot where that's not a problem. Okay, I can do the same thing, just a little bit better than you can. He needs to play something, or we'll just open kill him next turn.
Progress waits for no one.
Okay.
The only holiday worth celebrating.
And a barrier for Vi.
They said it couldn't
Okay.
be done. Everything can use an upgrade.
I can't think of any way out of this. I'm pretty confident this game's just over. But let's see. Maybe he has something.
Smells like opportunity.
Trouble coming at ya.
I think this is a top right click strategy here, where you click the gears in the top right, and then just hit concede. Pretty sure. I've been wrong before. There you go.
Come on.
All right.
Calculated.
All right. These games have been marginally interesting. I feel bad whenever there's not like ranked stuff. It's just I don't know. It's kind of my problem with Runeterra. Like I want to record limited because that's what I think is the most fun. But there's no limited format, so I mean you play against like a wide range of players. I like constructed, but I don't want to just like record the same like decks over and over and over again. Here we'll keep these 3: the Apprentice, the Beam, the Mystic Shot. I'm sure this is just some kind of aggro deck, and so we may need the Beam, the Shot. We can get rid of this. But no, it's like if you're wanting to watch like 50 games of a certain deck, then just watch somebody stream. But I like the limited formats because it's for the most part something wildly different every single run. But like the downside being is
I'm on it.
there's no ranks to it, like in Draft and Magic and Eternal. There's the rankings, so you can try to climb up to Masters and play against people of similar ranks and everything. But that's just
Hush, my sweet.
not a thing here. Here's why we kept the Beam.
So young.
this is fine. We should be pretty well set. He can't crack out a like a quick Brute Awakening on us, and so by the time he's able to deploy a whole bunch of spiders, we should have a good Shredder on board. Going all this is pretty okay. Don't care. He's going to attack. Let's let him go and attack first, and then we'll play Valor and start hooking this thing down. But yeah, I mean, like when I initially started, doing the recordings, like I was playing a fair bit of Constructed, but it was kind of interesting at the point. Like I liked being free to play, and then there was kind of some agency in the. Do we even care? I think we might actually want to care about this. No, but there's some like agency in the selecting of the cards, since the only way to get champions was through either paying money for wild cards or running your expeditions every week, and then they kind of took that away from us and moved the champions elsewhere. So it wasn't as interesting doing free to play stuff when you weren't limited in the champions you had access to every week. It's just I don't know. This is going to be a pretty reasonable Shredder. We're going to take some damage here, but my only real worry at this point is like a Darius. When he plays unit, okay. This is slightly awkward, because I wanted to Mystic Shot this, but of course we want to get full value out of this True Shot Barrage. I think this is a fine Mystic Shot, and then we can True Shot Barrage his spiders if we want to next turn, which I think we probably will, but it's not ultra necessary. If we draw something bad, I'm also kind of interested in rummaging away this Persuader. Alright, that seems like a reasonable start. Okay. Sure.
The people are my strength.
Alright, let's pull you in, because we don't want to block this with the Shredder. We probably need to add the Investigator in here as well, just to get a block on this thing. Our main concern here is not dying.
Investigating
And so
officer.
we're going to get some bad blocks here. We're never really excited to block this 2/2 with a Chempunk Shredder, but I think if we pull off this True Shot Barrage and then have access to Progress Day, then we're just going to win the game.
If I fall, so be it.
So we can block here. This will keep us at 11 health. Oh, nope, that's the way I want to do it. We can try to Barrage next turn and Progress Day this turn or something. Let's see how this pans out.
Motive.
Okay. Sure. This is a pretty decent pickup. I think we have to do this for next turn, but let's just start with Remembrance. So many good units we can pull out of this. I mean, it's unfortunate that a Radiant won't have Lifesteal, but I think we're just going to be okay.
For the hand.
It's really hard for him to play units we care about. This can also get a good attack in. Or do we just want to bank this mana? now I don't have access to 11 if we want to play this and these two. He's never blocking here, but if he would never block here either. Alright, let's pick up the detain.
Nothing to worry about.
It's real hard for him
If
to
you
play a
have
unit we
nothing
want to
to
attack
hide.
into. There is like the 6/5 fearsome, which would be a pain in the ass, but beyond that, I think we're okay. And if he wants to say block with crowd favorite and spend a might like right here, we're super okay with that. Alright, we can at least detain this thing.
I've got your back.
So let's protect this. Makes his attacks here horrible. And then I think we might be okay from that point forward.
Noxian strength.
Do we ever die to combat tricks if we try to block this thing? This thing can be ignored. But let's see. How good can we make this open attack next turn? Like if we're going to hit for 5, 8, 11 and then can kill with True Shot Barrage. So if we have one of these die, it's okay. I do not think that's what you wanted to do.
Do your worst.
Suspicious.
No closer.
Okay.
My duty's
All right.
done.
So let's play unit.
Today we turn the
Open for
tide
11
of
and then
war.
get him with True Shot Barrage.
Cavalry, to the field!
Don't want to get blown out by something like Whirling Death. We don't want him playing cards here. Sure. Alright, that should wrap it up. I don't think there's any cards that can dome us down from 5. Good game, friend. Alright, boys, well, it looks like it's time for that final battle. Let's see, that seems reasonable. I don't really want to keep the innovation since we have a curve hand. Vi's a little too expensive. I have to assume that this pickpocket is never going to be successful, especially since it won't attack until the 3rd turn. But it's still a reasonable run out. It'll come down and trade for something.
Petricite protect me. Nothing escapes my notice.
Oh man!
name it,
Oh man! Are we gonna get the open, or does he have the Mystic Shot? This is gonna die. No way! No way! This guy gets in like 2 times in one run. I think I've got him in like 1 time across 100 expeditions.
Track them down.
Everybody forget their removal at home today? All right.
What do
All
we
right.
get? Time for a true display of skill.
We can deal with that next turn. Let's just play for the full value here. I feel like this game's gonna grind on for a while. This does let him, you know, like Twin Disciplines or something his Ezreal, but like if his turn is, you know, attack with Ezreal, Twin Disciplines his health, and Mystic Shot
One
like
shot, all
Pickpocket,
skill.
that's not the end of the world. Granted, that's not a particularly bad turn, but I think we're okay here. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Okay. It's not a bad pickup. We are lacking in units at this point, though. Here's a dude. He's got stats. Let's get him out there. Sure. No, I think we want to keep up our board presence here. When we have like barrier back to back in our hand,
Quiet steps. The
I
dragon
think this is
approaches.
okay. That makes it awkward. Okay. Well, I mean, we have a good chance we'll get this guy flipped here pretty soon. So not the end of the world to get him shut down by this. Feels like a really low value Key Guardian. Maybe that was the only unit in his hand. Sure. That's a pretty low value as well. Awkward. I mean, do we just progress stay? Like, I think so. We just want to do like actual nothing that's in our hand. Okay. Three, 6. So we 3, 6. I wish this just said the fucking number, so I wasn't counting bars. We're gonna have 7 mana. I think this is okay. I don't really want these to get shredded. And kind of the thing I was kind of wanting to do next turn was back-to-back plus Bright Steel, but I don't think that's necessary either way. Let's just go ahead and run it out. If we get shredded, we get shredded. It's not the end of the world. Sure. I think we're super far ahead here. There's not a whole lot we actually have to worry about. He doesn't have access to Ruination, and we're getting a huge board here. Sure.
Grasping claws.
Okay. Your time will come, Heimer.
Vi stands for violence.
Sure. Alright, so I think we want to bank this spell mana. I think we're good to just pass here. Because now we're kind of in this spot to where we can start getting real Heimerdinger value. Taking this thing down is not particularly important.
Within my grasp.
Okay.
Answers. I have them.
He's got the progress stay. Okay, so I mean, you'd have to hit specifically like gotcha and like get excited. So do I want to spin this, or yeah, we can back to back next turn if we need to. It's kind of awkward banking all of that spell mana. I think it's reasonable. I'm gonna go ahead and Mystic Shot this too, so we get a big open next turn.
most groundbreaking invention to date.
Sure. Doesn't have the mana to replay it.
Beauty charms.
Oh, it just comes back down? I didn't know it worked like that. And it just dies? What a fucking weird... what a weird set of cards. Okay. I would have never guessed it worked like that. That's very strange.
A sturdy construction. Yeah.
So we're looking at here 4, 5, 8, 10 lethal. We played as Will of Ionia already? Okay, well, let's do it.
My cause is righteous.
I'm pretty okay with this. I mean, if this goes wrong, we're still picking up all these expensives here. These expensive, like the Storm Lobber and such. I'm pretty sure this is okay. Feels pretty good when he's, you know, digging like that. I'm not sure if we should have, like, chose Flurby plus this thing, but, you know, if things go wrong, we want to be hitting our Heimer. We get a burst unit. Okay. Still looking to take 12 and go to 3. Okay.
An exceptional advancement in ballistics.
I don't think there's any real reason to flip Heimer here. We could do it. I just don't think the reason's there. Then the thing I am kind of interested in here is popping him for 1. We have already spent our Mystic Shot and our Get Excited. Don't think we'll be able to reasonably pick up a spell like that. Let's just pass.
Silent as death.
Okay. We're really just looking to vengeance this, and we can get a block here if he lets us. Want to hang on to the Storm Lobber. I don't even know what the 7 is. I think it's the barrier. Where's Heimer at? Yeah, the barrier. Kind of underwhelming. He's already spent his deny, so there's not really anything he can do about this. Sure. What is the 6, though? Yeah, I think that'll be reasonable. Let's get this down. We'll play the innovation. Picks up a second overwhelm, and then we can hook his Plaza Guardian way down on the right, or if he plays, you know, any other unit, we'll consider hooking it way down here. Or would we rather just take out these blockers? This seems much better. I have a feeling this one is over.
Flavor and spice. Batter him.
I concur.
I see all. You have no alibi.
Can't fight on an empty stomach.
Good game for him. Yeah, not bad. Nice easy little 7 winner. So you know, just turns out like, you know, all of the Demacia cards are pretty good. So let's just put all the Demacia cards in a deck and see how it goes. But no, this was at least slightly different than the other deck, and I don't know if I would classify this as a control deck as opposed to just kind of like a mid-rangey value deck. Yeah, it was a nice, easy little 7 winner. But yeah, that's gonna do it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the run, learned something along the way, had a good time. All the usual things we go for here, the good time and the learning being the top two. But hey, this is Free to Play Bust, and I thank you for being here.